Hi, my name's Craig Noyes. If I were to explain to you how I came to know the Lord, I'd really have to start with my parents. My dad was raised in an atheist home, and in fact, my grandfather is still very much in that thinking. He's a brilliant man, had a great career with the military, but for Christmas 2 years ago, he sent me Charles Darwin's Origin of the Species Illustrated Edition. So that's the kind of household that my dad came up out of. And my mom was not raised in a Christian home either. I've witnessed to my grandmother many times, but she's not a believer. When I was 1 year old, we moved from New Jersey up to Vermont, but don't tell anybody I'm from New Jersey, okay? And up in Vermont, when I was 7 years old, my dad started working with a guy by the name of Jeff Cran. Ever heard of him? My dad and Jeff were working in a group home together, and my dad, much like me, is very analytical, and he liked to ask questions and just think about things. And so when he met Jeff, and Jeff talked to him about Christianity, my dad had some preconceived notions about what it meant to be a Christian, and so he started asking Jeff questions, and Jeff would answer, and they'd respond, and this went on for quite a while. And through time, patiently witnessing, patiently sharing, my mom and my dad accepted the Lord as their personal Savior. They realized that Jesus Christ died on the cross for their sins. He was buried and He rose again. And if they accepted that as true and believed that He did that, asked for forgiveness, He would do it. And Marlene Cran, Scott Libby, Monica Libby, and many others, some of which I don't even know because, of course, I wasn't around back then. And I am so grateful for the people who persistently shared the gospel with my parents. Well, once my mom and dad got saved, I remember we were in northern Vermont, just a couple miles from the Canadian border, up in the upstairs room in this 200-plus-year-old house that we lived in. And my mom sat down on this green swivelly chair and shared the gospel with me. I didn't accept the gospel right then, but it wasn't long, I think a week or two, and I remember sitting at the top bunk of my bunk bed with the comforters on me, thinking about life and death and heaven and hell, and realized that if I died, I would go to hell, and that was real to me. And so I asked the Lord a simple prayer, Lord, save me, understanding that He died on the cross for me. I mean, I remembered what my mom shared with me, and so that's when I made that commitment. When I was 7, I became a Christian. It wasn't until I was 14, though, that I really got serious. And I remember hearing preaching from Romans 12:1 and 2, and I made a commitment that day. Lord, I will do anything You ask me to do. Which has brought us quite a ways. And as you know, my wife and I are planning to go on the mission field now.